The world is confusing. Prices go up, the headlines get stranger, there's talks of conflict on one side of the globe and elections on the other, and we're just here trying to figure out what to make for dinner that won't cause a mutiny. If you're a homemaker, you might feel this tension in a special way. You're managing a household, maybe raising children or caring for others, and you're holding together something tender and human in the midst of all of it, which is no small task. Uncertainty is the water we swim in right now. Political uncertainty, economic uncertainty, even cultural confusion as to what's supposed to be important or who we're supposed to be. But in a strange, wonderful way, homemakers know a lot about uncertainty because we live in the middle of it every day. Children's moods shift, sometimes the refrigerator goes on the fritz like mine did this week. People change plans and life goes sideways. So today we're going to talk about how to live well with uncertainty, not by fixing it, not by conquering it, but learning how to walk with it gently, like you would in a dark room with your hand stretched out, trying not to stub your toe on the ottoman. The first thing is, the world has always been uncertain. We just notice it more now. It's easy to think that something has gone wrong, that everything used to be calm, logical, and predictable, and now it's all broken. But history tells us a different story. There have always been kings falling and currencies collapsing, and in the midst of all of it, there were people who were rocking babies to sleep, doing laundry, and making soup. Now you might be thinking, but things are really unstable now. Well, yes and also no, because we live in an age of constant updates, endless news. We have algorithms constantly feeding our fears nonstop. We carry the chaos in our pockets with our scrolling thumbs. But at the same time, the floor still needs sweeping and dinner still needs cooking. And that simple work, that rhythm, is something ancient and holy. One of the most applicable stories I heard about this was during World War II, when London was being bombed. Women were rising early to sweep up broken glass and make tea. And one woman even wrote in her diary, "I made toast while the sky was still smoking. I suppose that's something." And it is. It's everything. Next, resilience is built in the mundane. Oftentimes when people think of strength, they think of lifting cars off children or running into burning buildings. But real resilience, it can look like making a cup of coffee and starting again and again and again. I remember my mom telling me that when she first immigrated to Canada from Italy, money was tight. She had a particularly tough financial season, and she learned to stretch every ingredient in her pantry. Lentils became a miracle food, and leftover mashed potatoes became croquettes. Wilted spinach, into the soup it went. Her creativity wasn't flashy, but it was fierce. Now, of course, back in those days, there was no social media, but she didn't have to go around advertising everything she was doing. She just fed her family, paid her bills, and went to bed exhausted, but proud. The strength we build in the daily grind, the cleanups, the compromises, the quiet, steady work, that's what keeps a home alive. Persistence, not perfection. Next, let beauty be an act of defiance. In uncertain times, creating beauty in our surroundings is a powerful act of resistance. It's a way of asserting that joy and creativity still have a place in our lives. When I was a kid, there was a lovely grandmother who lived on our street, and after losing her husband, she planted daffodils in her front garden. And every spring they bloomed and they brought color and life to the neighborhood. Some neighbors started calling her the lady with the sunshine garden. And she'd once said, "I planted these to remind myself that good things come back." So beauty can look like a nicely made bed or even a little bouquet of dandelions sitting on the counter. Light the candles, bake the cake for no reason, it all counts. Also, it's good to create small rituals that anchor you. In a world where news changes by the hour, small rituals can be like gentle handholds. They can be as small as morning tea in your favorite mug or a tidy corner of the kitchen where the sunlight hits it just right. It's not about aesthetics. aesthetics. It's about rhythm. One of my friends lights a candle every evening while she does dishes. And it's not for ambiance, it's for sanity. In her mind, the flame says, this is your moment. The plates might be crusty, but your piece doesn't have to be. Another wonderful woman I know bakes bread every Sunday. Not because her family demands it, but for her the ritual of kneading dough while listening to the radio is very grounding for her. Even when the rest of life feels wobbly, that warm loaf rising in the oven reminds her that something good is on the way. Rituals remind us that even though we can't control everything, we can still have pockets of calm. Next, simplicity is a form of wisdom. There's a strange pressure these days to do everything in the most complicated way possible. I've seen 5-step skincare routines for a cutting board, or those 50 ingredient dinner recipes that require a trip to 3 different grocery stores and some spice that you can't even pronounce. But simplicity is not laziness, it's clarity. You might end up making a dinner one night of just some roast potatoes, some scrambled eggs with a few olives on the side. It's not fancy, it's not complicated, but it might just be what you have on hand and it feels right. Simplicity doesn't mean giving up richness. It just means choosing what matters and letting the rest go. Lastly, uncertainty is not the enemy, it's the soil. We often treat uncertainty like a crack in the foundation, something that needs to be patched up quickly. But really, it's the fertile soil where all growth begins. As homemakers, we live close to this truth. We can raise our children with care and intention and still wonder if we're doing it right. Or we'll follow a recipe exactly and still end up with flat muffins. But from this uncertainty, creativity sprouts, wisdom deepens, and life becomes a little more tender. Sometimes the hardest years of your life can be the ones where your family grows closest. Not because everything is smooth, but because you learn to face the unknown together with blankets, hot tea, and stories. So don't fear the unknown. Set the table for it. Pour it something warm, and know that you're not alone in navigating what comes next. At the end of the day, homemaking isn't just about maintaining the house. It's about creating a space where uncertainty isn't something to fear, but something we can live with and even thrive in. It's about rolling with the punches and enjoying the quiet moments, and knowing that the hard days are just part of a beautiful, imperfect journey. So when you're kneading dough or folding laundry or sipping your morning coffee, know that you're doing more than just keeping a home in order. You're cultivating resilience, peace, and beauty in a world that doesn't always make sense. And that, without a doubt, is one of the most powerful things you can do. So in the midst of embracing this messy life, know that you're creating something lasting, something filled with love, creativity, and the kind of warmth that is only made in the home. I want to thank you so much for choosing to spend a bit of your day with me. Many blessings to you and your families. Take care, and we'll catch you in the next one.